Hello YouTube community, my name's John and I'm going to start this channel where I'm going to be talking about all things football. I'm going to be talking about stats, I'll talk about players, I'll talk about teams, breaking news, anything that you guys want to see. And so then we're going to start with 3 burning questions for every single East NFL team. So AFC, NFC, I'm going to start with the AFC. I'm going to start with the Dolphins because that's what's first on this list, and I don't know why I just picked the Dolphins. I don't know why. But the first question is, with Ryan Tannehill, is he finally going to show that he's a franchise quarterback? And I really hope he does. I really like the guy. He only had 19 starts, and he's really improved during his career. But he's got to take that next step. The Dolphins have got to contend for a playoff spot. They have not contended for a playoff spot since he's been that starting quarterback, and they finally do it. The second thing is the running game. Who's the running back going to be? I mean, they got rid of Lamar Miller last year, and I don't know why. I mean, that was a dumb thing to do. It was unbelievable. They underused him, but he was still a great back. They shouldn't have gotten rid of him. So who's going to take over? I mean, they signed Arian Foster, but he's probably not his old self anymore. He's definitely not his old self anymore. And Jay Ajayo, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that name wrong, he's unproven. So what do you do? And the new head coach gaining respect. He's got to earn that locker room. They had so much discipline problems when Philbin was the coach. And I don't know. Things started to turn around with Campbell, but he just was not a good coach. That's why he didn't get the job. And let's see if he can gain that respect. He's a young guy, so he's got to earn it. The Patriots. They're going to be without Brady for the first 4 games. How is this going to go? Of course, we all know. Well, they went 11-5 with Castle. Well, that was an interesting case because, yes, they had Brady, but they also had a great defense. They don't have that defense now. It's not as great as it once was. It's still good, but it's not that great. And this guy's unproven. I mean, Castle, that was a fluke. Not to mention they had receivers, and they don't have that quality amount of receivers. I mean, they had Moss and Welker, but they don't have those guys anymore. The pass rush. They got rid of Chandler Jones, but now where's this pass rush going to come from? Pass rush. You got Ninkovich, but that's about it. I don't know any other pass rushes that they have, or guys that can rush the passer. Where's it going to come from? And the tight ends. This is going to be really exciting. I mean, you got 2 tight ends right here. They had it with Hernandez and Gronkowski. Now you got Gronkowski. Now you got Bennett. And Gronkowski, that is an athlete, I'll tell you that. They had him throwing a pass during practice. How many tight ends can throw a pass? None. Okay, now the Bills. How's this defense going to look like? In Rex Ryan's first year as the head coach, that defense was awful. Seriously, they couldn't rush the passer. They couldn't stop anybody, and the run game was terrible. They had all those pieces, and yet Ryan couldn't do anything about that. So how is he going to improve that? And Taylor, he just signed a contract extension, 6-year, $92 million extension. How is he going to play? He's got to prove that he's going to earn, that he earned it. We all saw what happened when they gave that contract to Fitzpatrick. He didn't turn out to be the answer. Let's see if Taylor can. I really hope he does. And McCoy. Is McCoy going to get back to what he was in Philly, or is he finally on the downhill of his career? Is he going to go done, over? I hope not. He's exciting. The Jets, again, with another quarterback. A lot of these guys have quarterback questions. You need to understand that. A lot of these teams do. But we're back to Fitzpatrick. He got a contract. He got over a $10 million contract. It was like $12 million, I think. Well, it was over 10. I can't remember. Somebody please fill me in on that. I can't remember. But how is he going to play? And is he going to be the good short-term answer, or is he going to do what he did in Buffalo, basically become a bum? And Wilkerson, is he going to be healthy? Not just Wilkerson. What's his defense going to look like? The line is probably going to be solid. We all know that. But what are the linebackers going to look like? And what's the secondary going to look like? I don't know. They drafted Darren Lee. You got Revis in the secondary. But who else is going to be these starters? I don't know who else is going to be a starter for the Jets on this defense. They got to shore it up. And the lines. And the line. The offensive line. You know, they lost they lost their left tackle. They got lost Ferguson. So they got Clady, but Clady missed last year. Is he going to be able to play? Well, is he going to be able to play at all? You know, he's coming off a pretty serious injury. And is he going to be able to do what he did in Denver, or who knows? I mean, who really knows? And then you got Mangle, but who are the other guys? I mean, what are you going to do? They have to get this right. They have got to get this line right, or else they're not going to go anywhere. Okay, so that's the AFC East teams. Let's go on to the NFC East. We're going to start with the Giants. They got a new head coach. How is this guy going to fit? He was great as the offensive coordinator last year, but this is different. This is the whole team. Can he handle it? I hope he can. And Victor Cruz, is he finally going to be healthy going into this year? He's already injured. But this is the off-season, so... I mean, not the off-season, this is training camp. So let's hope he can get back, play some preseason games, show us that he still has it. And I hope he does, because this is a really good story, and I just hope his career isn't over. And JPP, how is he going to look this year? I've heard that he is looking really good so far. But remember, he's playing without a finger, without his index finger. So how... And he's got that glove on his hand. So how is he going to play with that? And is that actually going to make him a better player? That's the question. They're saying, well, this could make him a better player. Is that? We're going to find out. In the Cowboys. Okay, the first two I'm going to say together because they go intertwined. Romo and Bryan, both of them missed time last year with injuries. Are they fully healthy, and are they going to be back to their old selves? Remember, Romo was like 36, 37 years old, and he can't play forever. You got to keep him upright. But even if he is that shoulder fully recovered? Because if it's not, they could be in for another long season. And the same thing with Bryan. I mean, without Bryan, that receiving core was not great. It was not even good. I call it mediocre at best. So they got to make sure that he's healthy, make sure that Romo's healthy, and they could be good to go. They could be playoff contenders again. But it all depends on what happens with this offense and their star players. Are they going to be healthy? And finally, well, just depth in general. I mean, you see what's going on with the defensive ends. They don't have anybody else to start. I mean, Lawrence is suspended for 4 games. Gregory has a 4-game suspension, and it's going to be even more because of another failed drug test. So who's going to start for those first 4 games on the defensive line, on the defensive end? But not only that, it's the linebackers, it's the secondary. I don't know if they have a lot of depth to begin with, because I can't name any of their backups. I mean, you're on a team, you can name at least one backup that they have, but I can't name any Cowboy backups for that linebacking core or that secondary. So, what do you do? Okay, now we're on to the Eagles, the quarterback race. What they played last night, I watched that game, and Daniel played well, but Bradford only had 3 passes, and 2 of them were incomplete. So, I can't make a fair assessment on how this is looking, but I'm hearing both players are doing okay in training camp. I hear this thing is going neck and neck between these 2 players, and we'll see what happens. We are going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. And I know what you guys are thinking. And Carson Wentz, don't count him out. He flashed during that preseason game. It's just that he's got to be more consistent. He just has to be more consistent. And he could actually start this year if he keeps improving. Because I really saw some flashes from him. Okay, again, with the new head coach. Okay, this guy, he's played in the league. He's been a coach for a while. Is he ready to be a coach? Is he ready to be a head coach? We're going to see. We're going to see how he does. And finally, this defense. This is a complete makeover. Over half of their starters from last year are gone. Or about half. something like that. Something like that. But still, it was a complete makeover. I mean, Maxwell's gone, Lonzo's gone. Those guys are gone. So now, how's his defense going to look? They locked up Fletcher Cox, which was a great idea. He's one of the best interior defensive linemen in this league. So we're going to see what happens. But it was a good idea to basically remake this defense because they were not that good last year. The pieces just did not fit. Okay, and finally the Redskins. Cousins, how is he going to look going into the season? He has got to prove that he's a franchise quarterback. Look, I know he had a great year last year, but I'm still skeptical. Okay, I am still skeptical. I'm skeptical because he's only had 1 year of being a starter. Only 1 year. I mean, you can't make a fair assessment from a quarterback like that. But if he can prove that he deserves to be that starter, that would be great. But he has to prove it. Okay, so don't say, "Oh, he's the face of the franchise. He's the quarterback." You can't say that until he actually proves it again. You know, it's like the first year they're the starter, they prove that they deserve to have a second year. In that second year, they got to prove that they can be in the long-term plans. So it's like first year, prove they can be the starter. Second year as a starter, you got to prove they're in the long-term plans. Cousins has got to prove that. Josh Norman, he has got to prove that he is not a system corner. I saw him play last year, and he was great for Carolina, but can he be great for the Redskins too? I don't know. But we're going to get a good idea in training camp. We are going to get a good idea in the preseason. I still don't know if we can make a fair assessment about that. And finally, they're starting running back. I'm still trying to figure out why they got rid of Alfred Morris. He was a great... Not great. Okay, not great. I don't know why I said great. Not great, but a very good running back. I don't know why they got rid of him. They should not have gotten rid of him. But, you know, stuff happens. So who's that starter going to be? Who's the starter going to be? Because, you know, running back is a key. Say what you want about it. That's a devaluated position, that it doesn't really matter anymore. It still matters. You have a really good running back, you can compete in this league. And the Redskins, they got to find a running back. They have got to find a starting running back. So that's for all the East teams. I'll come up with one for all the North teams soon. I got to get that finished. And, you know, I know normally guys would go and talk more about themselves on their first video. I'm not going to do that. I'll do that another time, probably after all these division ones are, probably after all the 3 burning questions are done. So you will see then. I will do that kind of video, but not right away. I'll do that later on. And I also got to pick a YouTube name because I'm not using my name. I'll figure one out. I'll shoot some ideas, and you guys tell me how you like it. Okay. See you next time.